Hello, fabulous, fantastic elementary teachers. This is Heather Cifuentes, Director of Elementary Education,
And Christy Bankson, MTSS coordinator.
and we're looking forward to sharing some information and getting you connected to where we're headed this year in regards to building strong readers and our implementation of DIBELS in Lectura for our literacy success. We listened to the feedback from everybody and took it into account, and we're excited to roll out our plan for this year. And given the feedback we got, overwhelming majority of our teachers wanted to jump in and just hit the ground running. So we have a really great plan planned out to make sure that you are set up for success in our first year of implementation. Chico Unified, as you know, has been ahead of the curve, and the Senate bill in 23 was passed. 24 in January, they decided what the screener possibilities would be. We, as a unified district, had already put into place a pilot. So our whole Hooker Oak staff had piloted, and we had our reading teachers piloting. And so when that list came out, we were well prepared to make a decision. We brought our options to the board in June of 2025, and it was adopted. And starting this year, we are required by Ed Code to implement a reading risk screener.
What is a reading difficulties risk screener? It's just one of many tools that we can use to understand the skills our students have and what skills our students may need. It's part of of our overall instructional strategy. So as you'll see a little bit later on, that DIBELS and Lectura is part of the assessments that we're giving. We're still going to use STAR and spelling inventory. The results of this, as we've been doing in Chico Unified, are used as a flag for potential risk for students who may have difficulties with readings. And that's very much in line with what we've been doing in Chico Unified for the past several years. It is not an evaluation or diagnostic tool to determine eligibility for special education or 504 plans. And it's not used for any high stakes purpose. It's really a screener. And then with some of the other tools we have, we can go deeper to really understand, like, what exactly does this student need? We know that there are going to be a lot of questions that come up. So as we are going through the remainder of these slides, feel free to jot down some questions. At the end, we'll provide a link where you can enter your questions into a Google form so that Heather and I can start to answer them and use them during the very direct training sessions that we have coming up in September. So what is DIBELS and Lectura? DIBELS stands for Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills. That is the English part. Lectura is the Spanish counterpart that assesses the same skills in the Spanish language. DIBELS has been around for a very long time, very heavily researched, they're all normed assessments that have specific benchmarks for each grade level by time of year. And mClass is the platform that will allow you to administer the assessments digitally, as well as provide a variety of reports for you, for administrators, and for families about the progress of your students and their needs.
So, as you remember, one of the things that's really important to all of us is that we gather input from all of our teachers. So, we started with the reading difficulties risk screener overview back in March, talking about different options that we had and how it would look to roll it out this year. As we saw from our vote, we saw that the majority of our team wanted to start in the 25-26 school year. And so we have been working diligently to come up with a training plan that will support everybody and ensure that you are ready to not only facilitate DIBELS, but understand the process for doing so, how to use the platform and the different components of it, and then what will be included on our report cards.
So you might be wondering, when am I going to get this training? So you have this slide in front of you on that first page of your handout for today. On Tuesday, September 2nd, kindergarten is going to meet from 8:30 to 11, and then first grade from 12 to 2:30. And this is where we'll go in depth about the specific assessments that you'll administer to students, and then how we do that in the M-Class platform. On Wednesday, September 3rd, second and third grade teachers will receive their training. And if you're an educational specialist, please join a first, second, or third grade session, because there's a lot of overlap with those assessments. So by attending first grade or third grade, you'll learn about the same assessments. On Thursday, September 4th, will be fourth and fifth grade. These 3 days will all be held at the Pleasant Valley Recreation Center, which is right next to Bidwell Junior High, and we will continue to send out reminders and information about these dates. But we felt it important so that you know that to save this date and time for this training. On Friday, September 5th, we will have a training for reading teachers Title I specifically, and other staff where a sub is not needed. For the grade level trainings, we will provide subs, and we'll work with your site administrators to get subs lined up for those days. And then on Monday, September 8th, Rosedale kinder, first, and second grade teachers, we will meet and look at the Lectura assessments specifically for your site. The only thing you'll need to bring with you on that day is a device and charger, and we will have all the other materials that you'll need.
So again, we know that we are lifting off a new platform a lot of you are familiar with, and some of you it may be brand new. It's really important to us that we build in not just kind of a one and done type of professional development, but that we provide opportunities throughout the year so that we can gain our confidence and our implementation. So these are dates that we'll be working on district-wide. It'll be woven into all 3 of our district-wide days, as well as you'll see ongoing training through PLCs and staff meetings so that we can take little pieces into practice. And then Lectura will be on September 8th for K2. And this is our overall assessment plan, which we're all familiar with looking at. What it does show now is the implementation and the dates for the windows of our M-Class and DIBELS. And these will be given at a beginning, a mid, and an end of the year so that we can monitor progress throughout.
Here are the DIBELS assessments and timelines, so you can see not every student is administered every assessment throughout the year. Even at the younger grades in kinder, first, and second specifically, there are different what are called gating rules. So if a student performs at a certain level on one of those assessments, they may not have to take any additional assessments. And that will all be covered in our training days in September. And here's the same diagram or visual for Lectura. Again, different assessments based on the student's grade level and time of year, with similar gating rules. Depending on how a student performs on a certain assessment, they may or may not need to be administered additional assessments. One question that we know has come up already is about what about all of our other Chico Unified assessments? Those are all still available for use, and those are linked on the assessment documents and are available for you to use if you want to start right away and get some information on your students' literacy skills.
In addition, we're working on updating our report card to reflect the new assessments that will be given. So this is a draft form of the markers for beginning, middle, and end of the year, and the different components of DIBELS that will be administered. This will be ongoing discussion, and by the time our training comes in September, we'll have a solid draft to be showing by each grade level.
All right, again, save the date. We'll continue to communicate with your site. Your site will communicate with you about these dates. We are providing subs, and we'll continue to communicate about the dates, the times, the location, all of that stuff. But again, save the date for your particular grade level and or role at your site. And now if you have questions that weren't answered, please let us know. You can type in this bit.ly right here, https://bit.ly/Chico questions with a capital C and a capital Q. And Heather and I are going to collect all of those and start to put together a questions sheet that we can then share out as well as use during our training sessions in September.
And we just want to add that we know this is new and all these questions are floating around, but we are confident that we have a plan in place to support each and every one of you so that we go through this first year of implementation. There'll be bumps, and that's okay because we're all learning together and it's not meant to be perfect. So we're here to support you, and we again are confident that you are going to be ready to rock and roll when the time comes.
The last thing is enjoy your lunch. Thanks for spending your morning in some great sessions. We'll see you at 1 o'clock, and I will put the link back up for the questions that you have regarding DIBELS and Lectura.